Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Willow Creek Folk School number 154. No, you don't hear the voice of Dr. Kelley tonight. She's out in Emmons County on publishing business tonight with a group of her fine students. I'm holding down the fort with a canine crew here tonight who I've bought off with dog cookies to buy some good behavior for the duration of this, I hope. We're going to go ahead and kick off here tonight with Bachelor Ballads of the Great Plains, and starting on a great plain quite a ways distant from here. I'm about to sing Schön ist das Ländliche Leben. This is a traditional folk song of the Volga Deutsch, the Volga Germans, who were early German colonists in the Russian Empire. To the north of the Black Sea Germans that we know on the northern plains, ironically, it's the northern German colonists in the Russian Empire that came down to the central plains rather than the northern plains, the Volga Germans, some of whom were my neighbors in western Kansas, also heavily settled in Colorado and Nebraska. And this song traveled with them. Now I'll sing the German stanza, followed by my own translation. Wie schön ist das ländliche Leben, ein Häuschen auf grüner Flur, mit schattigen Bäumen umgeben, wie glücklich macht mich die Natur. Im Schatten der Grünen der Bäume, da sitz ich so gerne allein. Es wiegen die Goldträume, die schöne Vergangenheit ein. It's good to live out in the country, my house on a carpet of green. As leafy trees wave all around me, the beauty of nature is seen. In the shade of the grove I have planted, I'm happy in solitude here. To pass the whole day on my homestead fulfills every dream I hold dear. Schwabe sitzt oben am Dache, sie fischt ihr Morgenlied vor. Ich höre es sobald ich erwache, der Vögelein lustigen Chor. Die Wachtel schlägt in dem Getreide, die Nachtigall schlägt ihm ein. Die Lerchen voller Freude steht fröhlich ihr Morgenlied ein. The swallow is perched on my gable, she's singing a sweet morgen song. I sit down to my breakfast table with all the birds singing along. The quail in the grain that he loves most, the nightingale out in the grove, larkin full voice and fans post all join in a chorus of love. Zufrieden lebe ich auf dem Lande, wobei ich kein Mittelland bin. Ich finde im mittleren Stande die Tage so fröhlich dahin. Ein Strahl, der war in den Sonne, legt sich in mein Stückchen herein. Ich würde uns sehen ohne, kein König kann glücklicher sein. I ponder as the sunshine grows warmer, and I aristocrat I'll never be. For a middle class free-holding farmer, with life for a plain man like me. The sunshine's calling me out to a day's work beneath the blue sky. A rich man would envy if he knew no king's more happy than I. Kein König kann glücklicher sein. Du schön ist das ländliche Leben. Indeed, this fellow knows what he's got and he knows what he wants. This song is particularly interesting to me right now because the past few weeks I've been writing in the Plainsfolk column. Okay, getting into the weeds a little bit, into the weeds along with the characters in the song. I've been writing about Hungarian partridge, the gray Eurasian partridge, which was transplanted to North Dakota in the 1920s. And so I read this stanza, Der Vögelein lustigen Chor, die Wachtel schlägt in den Getreide. The quail, we translate that, is out singing in the grain. Now, there aren't any quail up on the Volga, but there would be gray partridge, just like we have here around the neighborhood around our home here at Willow Creek that Angie flushes up now and then out of the grass. There would be those gray partridges, and they love grain fields. They're well adapted to grasslands adjoining small grains, such as they would have had in the German colonies on the Volga, and as we have here, or have had here in North Dakota. And our partridge are in decline because we don't raise so much small grains here anymore. I take a few liberties in translating a ballad like that. You know, the lark in full voice on the fence post, that line, that's not in the original. A lark singing in Willow Friday, in full voice, in full joy, is in the stanza. I added the fence post myself, something. I need the line to scan. It is a bit fun though, if you can feel like you're getting the sense of what this fella is about, and what he's trying to tell us with his stanzas. What there aren't are any women in this stanza. No neighbors or anything else. This is man solitary on the land, for all as best we can tell. But it's improved land. It's cropland. It's got the grove that he planted. Yeah. But no women in the song. It also has a little bit of social commentary. It's got class consciousness, right? It's the independent peasant on the land doing this to the nobility and anybody else who might try to interfere with him. Of course, the fellow singing this ballad is living on that land by the sufferance of an authoritarian regime that shortly would turn against the Germans in the Russian Empire, and worse yet, come the 20th century, drive them to full-bore persecution. But here's this moment on the land, and it's just perfect, isn't it? Kein König kann glücklicher sein. There's just no better way. Well, Dr. Kelley on the road tonight. It is bachelor night with the Willow Creek Folk School tonight, and I began to think, oh yeah, we've got an unseemly number of ballads about bachelors in the settlement ballad history of the Great Plains. I think this is not only because it's a true fact of life on the Great Plains frontier that often men came out ahead of family to build a claim, to take up a claim, but also that bachelors were on people's mind in the late 19th century. They were a social problem. Towns sometimes, partly out of a joke and partly serious, would pass bachelor taxes and to try to deal with the problem of these young men who didn't care to get married. Well, the greatest bachelor of balladry, the most pure, maybe that's not the right word, The most stubborn bachelor is Arthur L. Stokesbury. Now, I've been pulling together a lot of discoveries of ballads and started writing them up for historical journals. In a series of articles, 3 completed recently. The first one I'll talk about a little later. The second one will be out in the journal Kansas History, any day now. And it's entitled The Stern Old Bachelor, Arthur L. Stokesbury and His Ballad, Reigniting Research in Great Plains Folk Song. Okay, I'm going to read you the first page of this and then sing his ballad, the Kansas Bachelor Song. In August of 1886, the teachers of Kingman County, Kansas, gathered in the county seat for a summer normal teacher training institute supervised by faculty from the normal school in Emporium. Their opening session was a social at the United Brethren Church, where attendees answered a roll call according to states of origin. The informative gathering turned hilarious when a bogus Arkansasier, a teacher named Arthur Lorraine Stokesbury, entered the sanctuary from an anteroom with, as he declared, a right smart of gladness and a fiddle under his arm. Stokesbury, assuming the persona of the Arkansas traveler, recited a litany of fictional facts about the Toothpick State and sawed his way through the fiddle tune, Arkansas Traveler, including inducing waves of laughter and applause from the delighted educators assembled. The man was an entertainer. The talents on display that night were characteristic of Stokesbury, who soon afterward would pen a canonical ballad of the Great Plains entitled Kansas Bachelor Song, also known as A Bachelor Song, and later as The Stern Old Bachelor. Pardon my croaking. I'm coming down with a little bit of something here. Not serious, but if I'm a little dopey, it's the cough syrup. All right, The Stern Old Bachelor. I am a stern old bachelor, my age is 44. I do declare I'll never live with women anymore. Oh, those hot shanty, give to me. For I'm a stern old bachelor from matrimony free. I'm going to take it up with the key. I live upon a homestead claim. From women I am hid. I do not have to dress a wife or take care of a kid. Oh, little shanty built for me. For I'm a stern old bachelor from matrimony free. I cook my little dirty bite 3 times or less a day. I lick my plates to keep them clean, just shove things away. I have a stool that's worth 10 cents and a table worth 15. I cook my grub in an oyster can and I keep my skillet clean. Oh, little shanty built for me. For I'm a stern old bachelor from matrimony free. On Sunday morning I'd go to church without a wife to storm. My latest paper's not rolled up to beautify her form. Oh, little sod shanty built for me. For I'm a stern old bachelor from matrimony free. I go to bed whenever I please and I get up just the same. I change my socks 3 times a year with no one to complain. When I die and go to heaven as all good bachelors do, I will not have to fret for fear my wife won't get there too. Oh, little sod shanty built for me. For I'm a stern old bachelor from matrimony free. The Stern Old Bachelor. Well, yeah. He's a little bit of a hypocrite. He was teaching down in Kingman County, Kansas. Moved out, took up a homestead. And then he went ahead and paid $1.25 for an acre for it instead of proving up the homestead. Got himself married. So he no longer was the Stern Old Bachelor. Moved down to the Oklahoma territory, down within what was the Cherokee Strip at this time. Lived out the rest of his life there. But he was a balladeer. He wrote one other ballad, which you'll introduce in a future session of the Willow Creek Folk School. Let's see, what do we have coming up next? I'm watching well, thanks for the vote of confidence there, Dr. Kelley. She thinks I know. She thinks I know what I'm doing. Not exactly, but if I don't, I'll wing it. NDSU press report in absentia. Dr. K, if you want to put anything on the chat line about what you're doing in there, that's fine. I'm not going to presume to speak for you, except to encourage you to travel safe and come home safe here. I guess tomorrow night you'll be back. Ladies, did you hear that? The ladies here are a bit at a loss tonight and wonder where Mom is. Let's see, the past few weeks been talking about fall suppers. I don't want to completely neglect that this week. I'm not going to really go through the regimen of who all serving what, but I do know that there is a dandy turkey dinner being served on Sunday in Hankinson, North Dakota, for all comers, turkey and all the trimmings. So check the Heritage Trails group on Facebook, and you'll see the dope on that and on other events going on this weekend. Who else is showing up here? That cough is a good excuse to whip up some pleasant pheasant and wild rice soup. Well, William Poley, I happen to have a couple of canned pheasants from last year that it's about time to get out. So, that's a good clue there. Let's get one of them out before we start filling up the freezer with them again. Oh, Bachelor Ballads. Yeah. That's the subject tonight. Another great one. There is this ballad, commonly known as the Lane County Bachelor. Now, I don't want to pick a fight here, but I'm still a little skeptical about the Lane County Bachelor. Frank Baker is my name, an old bachelor I am. I just can't find a historical record of a Frank Baker living at the time when this ballad was supposed to have taken place. He might have been in and out. Many homesteaders were somewhat transient that way. The oldest known text actually is a memory text dating from 1894. It's in the library of Fort Hays State University. And so this ballad is a little bit up for grabs. It travels all over the plains, though, and gets localized. There is an Emmons County. No. Is it Emmons County? Adams County. There's an Adams County, North Dakota version of it. And there are well-known versions from Oklahoma, the Greer County Bachelor. And I'm going to sing one of those tonight and also tell a little bit of the story of this ballad, the Greer County Bachelor. It kind of comes into rediscovery in the 20th century by virtue of the ballad song collector, John Lummox. This is his memoir, autobiography, Adventures of a Ballad Hunter. And I'm going to read just a couple paragraphs here about his encounter with the fellow who gave him the song, the Greer County Bachelor. Well, Tom Hite, H-I-G-H-T, Tom Hite and I spent 2 happy days together recording songs in an Oklahoma City hotel. Tom was made happier, as I'm sure he was, by the added presence of 2-quart bottles of rye, which he consulted frequently between songs. Tom knew many more cowboy melodies than any other person I have ever found. He gave me 50. Ever since I was a boy, said Tom, I have been a sand fool. I would sing down any man in our cow camp in the Panhandle. When the fellows backed me up against the neighboring camp, I won. They challenged the whole damn panhandle. The champions of each camp met at a central point, and we lifted up our heads like a pack of coyotes, only we lifted them up one at a time. The rules was that each man was to sing in turn, one after the other, round and round. The man that sung the last song, he won the prize. It took us mighty near all night to get sung out. The other feller couldn't sing no more, but he didn't know no more songs. But I was ready with the last one, and had one more roped and ready. Of course, you couldn't use no books and no writing. I was mighty proud of being the champion singer of the Texas Panhandle. My cowboy friends even gave me a pair of silver-mounted spurs for a prize with my name engraved on them. And Lomax goes on to tell more about his further contacts with Tom Hite. You can tell is a bit of a character. And he gave him this song, The Greer County Bachelor. Lomas picks it up, and I think it kind of is reintroduced to circulation that way. Carl Sandburg. This is one of the songs that Carl Sandburg he'd pick up his own little guitar, small one like this. This is my baby Martin. Picks up a little guitar strung with nylon, and he'd plunk a ballad or two after his poetry readings. And one that he liked to sing was the Greer County Bachelor. Well, how about this guy, Tom Hite? Well, in the first place, there are card catalog entries at the Library of Congress that confirm the collections made from Hite by John Lomax. But in second place, yeah, I got him. He's postmaster of a post office in Greer County in 1904. He's a homesteader there. Wife and 2 sons down there. Yep, he proved up a homestead in Greer County. He swore to others who are taking homesteads. They'd go into Lawton and swear that they were honestly complying with the terms of the Homestead Act. He gave his local address as Mangum, M-A-N-G-U-M. And his comings and goings are noted in the newspaper. He's a bigwig in the local Masonic Lodge. Okay, so Lomax got with a fairly prominent personage. And I think it's probably while Hite here was riding high in southwestern Oklahoma that Lomax encountered him in that hotel in Oklahoma City. Things then kind of went south for Mr. Hite, however. Sheriff's sale, 29 February 1912. Selling off his place, that homestead, and any other property that he'd acquired along with it being sold for taxes, 1912. Here I see in 1918, essentially a quitclaim deed requiring him to renounce any claims to any of these properties. Apparently the titles have gotten a little bit clouded in the legal proceedings against him. Well, I don't want to pile on too badly, but, you know, Mr. Hite, I'm not sure that this is your song. Because I've got it here in the Kingfisher Daily Star, 5th of July, 1906. And it clearly says, the editor puts this into the Kingfisher Star, composed and sung by Lon Thomas, L-O-N, Thomas of Mangum. Uh-oh. You mean, okay, now this song has existed probably since the 1870s, maybe not, maybe the 1880s. In western Kansas, it's traveled all the way to North Dakota before this. But here, the first record of it in Greer County, localized to Greer County, North Dakota, I got it in 1906 and attributed to a fellow named Lon Thomas, several years before Hite sang it to John Lomax. Moreover, wait a minute here. Oh, where's that other? Well, another local citizen there in Kingfisher writes into the paper, "Hurrah for Lon Thomas, our Greer County balladeer." So they're crediting him as the one who localized the song to Greer County. I think it's a pretty good case that Lon Thomas is the Greer County balladeer. We're not letting him off that easy, however. It appears he got into bad company there himself. He got a buddy named McLean. I see him brought up on charges for pig stealing in 1906, the same year that Lon Thomas published his ballad. A couple years later, Thomas and his buddy McLean are up on charges for stealing 2 bales of cotton. Cotton being a common crop on those counties adjoining the Red River in southern Oklahoma. 1908, second set of charges. He's up on a second time for stealing bales of cotton. And in this case, he's written up in the newspaper of Hobart, Oklahoma, as being an impressive artist. He's turning out cartoons and drawings while serving out a sentence. Eventually, they hauled him up to the penitentiary in Kansas to serve part of that sentence. And we kind of lose track. But I'm pretty sure Lon Thomas is our guy for the Greer County Bachelor. So I'm going to sing his text right now. Pardon me. Now I'm an old bachelor, long time. I'm going to start again. Croaking here. Now I'm an old bachelor, Lon Thomas by name. You'll find me out west on an elegant plain. You'll find me out west in a country of fame, starving to death on a government claim. Then a roll for Greer County, the land of the free, the home of the grasshopper, bedbug, and flea. I always sing of its praises and tell of its fame, while starving to death on a government claim. My house it is built of the natural sod, the walls are erected according to how. The roof has no pitch but is level and plain, and I always get wet when it happens to rain. Then a rod for Greer County, the land of the free, the home of the grasshopper, bedbug, and flea. We sing of its praises, we tell of its fame, while starving to death on a government claim. Oh, how happy I am when I crawl into bed and a rattlesnake comes in a tune at my head, and a gay little centipede, stranger to fear, crawls over my pillow and into my ear. Then a rod for Greer County, where the blizzards arise, where the sun never sinks, where the flea never dies, the wind never ceases, but will always remain, to blow out the light on a government claim. Now all you claim holders, I hope you will stay and chew your hardtack till you're toothless and gray. But as for me, I'll no longer remain to starve like a dog on a government claim. Farewell to Greer County, farewell to the west. I'm going back south to the girl I love best. I'm going back to Texas and marry me a wife, and quit this hard living the rest of my life. Starve like a dog, no offense, ladies. Oh, they've lit out for bed already, it looks like there. Well, I don't know, maybe we all will here before long. That's the Greer County Bachelor, also known as the Lane County Bachelor in North Dakota as the Duck Creek. Well, yeah, it's all over the place, but its origins a little obscure. I pinned them down in the Oklahoma variety, however. Well, I mentioned that my write-up on the Bachelor song, the Stern Old Bachelor. The Stern Old Bachelor is going to press at Kansas History anytime. My write-up on Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim was out a few weeks ago in South Dakota History. Happy to work with them on that publication. And, a lot of authors badmouth editors. I do not. The editors of both these journals improved the manuscript that I sent them, and I'm happy to work with them. I hope to do it again in the future. Because this Genesis series that I have going, writing up the origins of ballads, previously unknown origins of ballads of the Great Plains, it's going to get fairly extensive. Yeah. It's going to need a lot of editors and publishers before it's done. Well, probably the daddy of them all as far as bachelor ballads of the Great Plains. Yeah, okay, so you got Arthur Stokesbury, where he's swearing that he enjoys being a bachelor, but the first chance he gets, he finds a good woman and marries up. You've got Lon Thomas, who, who's going to marry a convict, I suppose, is the question there. And who knows, maybe he found the right woman and straightened up and lived a exemplary life after his unfortunate experience in southwestern Oklahoma. But Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim. In print, I have now branded this the Anthem of the Plains. I make no secret of my admiration for Home on the Range as a great piece of lyric folk poetry. But the Settler Society's choice as an anthem has to be Little Old Sod Shanty on the Plains. Really, Shanty on the Plains. Lord, I've got 50 or more texts of this song from all over the plains, including here in North Dakota, if we want to swing by home here yet before we're done tonight. A fellow named Henry A. Ball in Walsh County, the northeastern part of the state, insisted that he wrote Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim. Unfortunately, his claim dates from 3 years after I know that the song was written in Smith County, western Kansas. I will say the song was greatly improved by residency in North Dakota and reintroduced to the rest of the plains, and so the North Dakota is as much a shaper of that ballad as the original authors and carriers in Kansas. Well, Henry Ball claimed it. I've got another one who claimed it, and I'll get to that one in just a moment. But there are many versions out of North Dakota, as there are from Colorado and Kansas, and Oklahoma, you name it. This stuff, as I say, I've written it out, and it's going into, has been published in South Dakota History. Once again, I'll read the introduction, and then I'm going to read you one more version of Little Old Sod Shanty. Now, before I do that, let me get some papers into place here. Let's see, I want this one. I want this one. Yep, hang on. Yeah, I don't need this one. Yeah, where's the Stern Old Bachelor? Let's find that rascal yet. Oh, there he is. Okay, I got my papers all straightened out here. Now, where's that little paragraph I was about to present? You see, it is tougher without Dr. K to keep me on course here, I can tell you that. There it is. Yeah, this piece was called Happy as a Clam, The Origins and Evolution of Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim, the Anthem of the Plains. In April 2023, as a COVID curtain descended on pre-pandemic lifeways, public intellectuals, that is, scholars who prize a connection with the citizenry at large, sought means of maintaining connections. This was the context in which I, with production assistance and editorial counsel from my spouse and fellow historian, Dr. Suzanne Kelley, launched the Willow Creek Folk School, a weekly live stream devoted to balladry on the Great Plains of North America. My original conception as an old folkie from the 1970s and earlier was to revisit the venerable standards of that era's folk revival and indulge in a nostalgic folk fest. Taking up this material 50 years later, a research scholar, I quickly discovered that with the advent of digitized documentary resources, historic balladry had become a promising line of inquiry. It was possible, I found, to research the very origins of all those old folk songs we had assumed just materialized from the mists of antiquity. There were texts, they had authors, and the story songs, the ballads, had their own stories. Among the ballads of the Great Plains, one song, Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim, stands as the most salient of them all, a ballad known in the settler society throughout the Great Plains. So here's one more version that you haven't heard before. It comes from Abercrombie, North Dakota, published in the Fort Abercrombie Scout, July the 1st, 1887. And the notation there is probably written by the editor, F.J. Smith, and when they republished in the North Dakota Historical Collection, the State Historical Society. Well, nobody knew about Little Old Sod Shanty on the Claim, evidently, or the real origins of it. But here's that Richland County, North Dakota version. I am looking rather seedy now, I'm holding down my claim, and my victuals are not always, sir, the best. And the mice play shyly round me as I nestle down to sleep in my little old sod shanty on the claim. Oh, the hinges are of leather, the windows have no glass, the roof it lets the howling blizzard in. And I hear the hungry coyote as he sneaks up through the grass round my little old sod shanty on the claim. Yet I rather like the novelty of living in this way, though my bill of fare is often rather tame. And I'm happy as a clam in this land of Uncle Sam, in my little old sod shanty on the plain. And the hinges are of leather and the windows have no glass, while the board roof lets the howling blizzard in. I hear the hungry coyote as he sneaks up through the grass round my little old sod shanty on the claim. But when I left my eastern homes a bachelor so gay, try to win my way to wealth and fame, I little thought that I'd come down to burning twisted hay in my little old sod shanty on the claim. Oh, the hinges are of leather and the windows have no glass, the roof that lets the howling blizzard in. I hear the hungry coyote as he sneaks up through the grass round my little old sod shanty on the claim. Round my little old sod shanty on the claim. With a deer in the antelope lane, a swallow perched on my gable. She's singing a sweet morning song. I sit down to my breakfast table with all the birds singing along. The quail and the grain that he loves most, the nightingale out in the grove, bachelors do. I will not have to grieve for fear. My wife's not gonna get there too. Better off Greer County is the land of the free, is the home of the grasshopper, bed bug and flea. Sing loud praises, tell of her fame, starving to death, starving to death, starving to death on a government claim. Well, yeah, the hinges, they're leather, and the windows have no glass, while the border lets that howling blizzard in. And I hear the hungry coyote, as he sneaks up through the grass, round my little old sod shanty, my little old sod shanty, little old sod shanty, where the deer lay out a low place, where self oh, the scourging word, and skies are not cloudy, are not cloudy all the day. No, the skies are not cloudy all day. Thank you, everyone. Good night to you, Dr. Kelley. Come home safe. Next week, no Willow Creek Folk School. Although you can imagine it. You've got plenty of ballads before you. Just go ahead and sing. I may sing a little bit myself, although I may not be inclined to sing on the streets of L.A. We'll be attending the annual meeting of the Willow Creek of the Western History Association next week in L.A. I've got a paper to give. Dr. Kelley is going to try to wrangle some authors into the ranks of the authorship at the North Dakota State University Press and maybe try to move a few books on the unsuspecting public. So wish her luck this week and next, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks back in the Salon on Willow Creek. Good night.